With AfriCell, you're never out of credit even if you're out of cash. Borrow up to $250 as credit with the AfriCell Cholera Credit. Send a blank SMS to 152 to activate the Cholera Credit. AfriCell Cholera Credit, the solution for you.
Send money to Gambia for free! You can now send money via MoneyGram to AfriMoney in Gambia anytime, anywhere. Simply go on to MoneyGram.com or the app and select Pay through AfriMoney to send. Make sure the receiver is registered on AfriMoney in Gambia or get them to dial *777# to register. Instantly, the money comes into their AfriMoney wallet. No hassle, no wait times, complete ease. Cash out at any AfriMoney agent or AfriCell outlets. Free cash out, no sending fees.
Hello and welcome to Star TV Newsroom with me, Momodu Bailabari, and thanks for joining us. In our headlines tonight, IOM Assist Voluntary Return Program provides swift solution for stranded Gambian migrants in Niger. Minister Njai says new defense policy aims to boost professionalism. Gambia successfully hosts its inaugural Model United Nations Conference. NYC staged to third edition of Youth Connect Summit with over 400 participants. On the international news, Gaza war, Palestinian death toll passes 2008. Agreement with US to restore water supplies. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. In a recent operation, the International Organization for Migration, through its Assisted Voluntary Return Program, successfully facilitated the return of 89 stranded Gambian migrants from Niger. Awasane reports.
More than 100 people from Gambia. Some people are Nigerians, some people are from Liberia, many countries in Africa. The day we try to cross our boat have problem, and the weather also is not that much good. The water is coming inside our boat, so we decided to return back, because if we want to continue, we may all die there.
On Monday, 16th October 2023, the organization produced a seamless repatriation process for these individuals who had been stranded far from their homeland. The migrants hailing from the Gambia found themselves in an unstable situation in Niger, seeking a way back to their native country. The IOM's program, known for its commitment to upholding human rights and providing human alternatives for migrants in need, stepped in to offer a lifeline. The 89 returnees were met with a warm welcome upon their arrival, as IOM staff members were ready to provide them with immediate post-arrival assistance. The operation, according to IOM, not only ensured a safe and dignified journey home, but also offered immediate post-arrival assistance to aid in their reintegration. This support encompasses various essential services, including access to healthcare, counseling, and information on available resources to aid their reintegration into their home communities. This successful operation highlights the IOM's unwavering dedication to addressing the needs of stranded migrants and providing them with a timely and compassionate solution. This initiative not only ensures their safety during the return journey, but also offers vital support as they begin the process of rebuilding their lives back in the Gambia. For Star TV News, I am Awasane.
The Minister for Defense, Serigne Modou Njie, has told Star TV that the newly launched national defense policy will reposition the country's defense sector in its reprofessionalization drives. Honorable Njie was speaking to our reporter Modou Elbaj at his office on 6th Marina Parade in Banjul.
Since the establishment of the Gambia Armed Forces in 1984, the country's defense sector has been operating with a policy that was carved in the colonial era, but the advent of the Barrow-led administration has set the ball rolling for a reform strategy which has in August of this year launched what could be the first ever defense policy as part of the ongoing security sector reform initiative in 2017. The establishment of this important defense doctrine indicates the Gambia government's willingness to actualize its democratization mission's objectives. The Minister for Defense, Honorable Sering Modunjai, outlines the objective of the National Defense Policy.
Basically, the policy seeks to address many things. First and foremost, it talks about how we can deal with the defense and the security of the territorial integrity of this country. That is the direction that the policy is trying to create, an atmosphere where every Gambian, would have that kind of understanding that the defense institutions and the defense sector will go according to their constitutional mandate to provide them with the necessary security for the citizens to be able to go about their normal business. The policy also seeks to address professionalism. The only defense institution is the Gambia Armed Forces. How we can create capacity building in the armed forces. How we can also refocus, and also how we can also reposition the Gambia Armed Forces in line with their constitutional mandate. Of course, you are aware that the constitutional mandate that is assigned to the armed forces is to defend and to protect the territorial integrity. This is very principal. This is very fundamental. Protecting and defending the territorial integrity of this country is one of their core mandates.
Minister Njai added that the policy covered both internal and external matters that are security related.
How equipped are your personnel when it comes to this doctrine? How far have they gone in knowing, the content of this doctrine?
Exactly. I think the defense institutions, which is the armed forces, they are very well informed about this national defense policy. From the inception, they were part of the National Defense Policy Drafting Committee. That alone means that the senior management and other level of command of the Gambia Armed Forces were part and parcel of the drafting, committee of the defense policy. We had a lead consultant, Professor Ann Federal, who was assisted by a local consultant, the Right Honorable Sarif M.L. Gomez. He was also a former Minister of Youth and Sports, a respectable and distinguished gentleman who led also the defense policy with the entire team. In fact, my permanent secretary and many staff in this ministry also were part and parcel of that. Mr. Jesse today was part of that also drafting committee. So the senior management, middle and junior management of the armed forces also were part of the drafting committee of this defense policy. They are very well informed about it. And if you look at also the policy in its entirety has to, speak the language of how we can, make the armed forces the finest armed forces that will only concentrate on its constitutional mandate.
The Minister for Defense noted that efforts are underway to come up with a national defense strategy and implementation plan, which is currently at its finishing touches. But to fully actualize this, the ministry needs solid financial muscles to bankroll its plans.
Continue to engage our partners. If you look at the defense policy, in fact, we must also take this opportunity to thank, the British government. They have supported, the policy to its conclusion. And also, we must thank also our other partners, the EU, the Americans, and then the Turkish, and many other partners who have participated in making sure that the policy gets to the stage. Of course, we will continue to engage, partners to make sure that the strategic, and implementation plan is also, successfully completed.
The National Defense Policy did not only seek to address the mandate of personnel of the Army, but also to equip them with the required knowledge in the execution of their sworn duty.
Again, does this policy have anything to do with the welfare of personnel? It is also key.
Yes. Of course, if you look at the policy, one of its key objective area is to make sure to try to provide the enabling environment. The issue of looking after the welfare and the well-being of members of the Gambia Armed Forces. This is very key and very important. The policy tries to make sure that they will provide and enhance and support, the armed forces to become well equipped, well, sustained, well modernized. These are key areas. Looking at the welfare and the well-being of the armed forces also to make sure that they continue to enjoy that support to be able to help them discharge, their functions.
However, these policies and programs are all geared towards building a vibrant defense institution that will work based on the aims and aspirations of the people it defends in line with the dictates of the Constitution. For Star TV, I am Modu Elbaji.
The Gambia recently achieved a significant milestone by successfully hosting its very first Model United Nations conference under the theme Addressing Global Problems Through Diplomacy. The primary objective of its conference was to foster discussions on diplomatic negotiations and emphasize the immense importance of effective international dialogue. Mariama Dem has more in the report.
The conference aimed to create an inclusive platform for open discussions and constructive debates. By doing so, it sought to cultivate an environment conducive to exploring innovative and diplomatic approaches to tackle global issues. This day-long event brought together young individuals hailing from diverse backgrounds. They gathered to exchange thoughts and ideas on international relations and global affairs, ultimately striving for a better understanding of the United Nations, its mandates and operations. Dauda Kujabi, the Deputy Secretary General of the Model United Nations of the Gambia, delivered an opening statement on behalf of the Secretary General for the Yabo. According to Mr. Kujabi, the forum will be used to educate participants about global issues and challenges and also promote peace and the work of the United Nations.
The United Nations of Gambia is not just an academic simulation program. It serves as a platform to nurture and develop the future leaders of our society. Having had the privilege of attending numerous Model United Nations conferences around the world, I can attest to the invaluable experience gained and positive impact they have had on my professional career. This year, our conference theme is addressing global problems through diplomacy. In an increasing complex world where crime rates are surging, climate change is posing formidable challenges, migration issues are becoming more pressing, and health emergencies are on the rise. It is evident that we need global cooperation and partnership to the foreseeable solution. It is my firm belief that diplomatic negotiations and international dialogue are essential in tackling these issues effectively.
The former Minister of Foreign Affairs and a seasoned diplomat, Dr. Mamadou Lamin Sedat Job, described the conference as a very crucial event, especially for the younger generation. Dr. Job also speaks on the topic combating poverty and equality through international cooperation.
It will be very pretentious to say how would we fight against poverty. And I would like you to do your research on that, to see to it that as long as we do not have solid institutions, as long as we do not respect the decisions that are taken at this level, we will be in a situation where not obeying what the central institutions are saying, we will always be in a position of weakness. And without a powerful currency, we are unable to develop our country.
Dr. Aissata Job, a counselor at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, took delegates through women's empowerment in diplomacy and the need for promoting female representation in diplomatic roles.
Women are breaking barriers nowadays, and I'm glad they are, and they are making differences in fields of diplomacy. Between 1992 and 2019, women represented 13% of negotiators all over the world. And they also are 6% of mediators and 6% of signatories in peace processes. This number is quite low. Considering the number of women we have in this world, having only 6% of women, are we not negotiators enough? I need to hear your voice, especially ladies. Are we not good enough? You know?
Other speakers, including Mr. Abdullah Sisao, a lecturer at the University of the Gambia, and Mr. Kemo Fati, co-founder and executive director of Green Up Gambia, delve into the roles of youths in peace building and conflict resolution and enhancing global efforts to combat climate change and promote sustainable development.
We know we are a very solid pillar of the society. Why are we still not given the opportunity? Or why are we given limited opportunity to contribute to peace building and conflict resolution? And not just conflict resolution, conflict settlement, conflict transformation, or conflict management as well. So the potential for the youth to contribute to peacemaking and peace building was also recognized by the United Nations Resolution 2250.
I have to let you know that the day we stop believing in the power of multilateralism, the day we stop believing that different people from different political and religious backgrounds can come together and make peace, is the day that we have given up hope on humanity. And I am not willing to do that. But what I can tell you here today is that we have a common enemy, and that enemy is the changing climate. We, the human population, have been living for more than 3,000 years. We have had evidence of this. But in just less than 200 years, we have managed to actually take the planet from a stable state that the scientists are calling the Holocene to a state where it has been changed through human actions, which is now called the Anthropocene.
Delegates were also divided into three groups to debate on three main topics such as the WHO, UNHRC, and the UN Security Council's roles and response to global issues. Meanwhile, the underlying goal of this conference was to generate viable solutions and recommendations which seeks to address the socio-political and economic challenges that the world currently faces. By engaging in fruitful discussions and examining these issues critically, the participants endeavored to contribute towards a brighter future for the global community. Delegates also went home with deeper knowledge and understanding of foreign policies of countries across the globe with an improved critical thinking, debating style and negotiation, which are important for personal development and future successes. Maria Madam, reporting for Star TV News.
The Gambia National Youth Council on Friday called for a press conference to thank the government of the Gambia under the leadership of His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia for the approval of the forthcoming Youth Connect Summit. The briefing was similarly used to update journalists on the Council's preparations ahead of the summit and how the annual event encourages policy dialogue, promotes investment for youth and partnership. Saleh Kamara reports.
The Gambia National Youth Council on Friday, the 13th of October 2023, organized a press conference to extend gratitude to the Gambia government for what they describe as the approval of this year's Youth Connect Summit and to remind the people of the success of the Youth Connect for the past years. This year's summit is scheduled for 23rd to 25th of October 2023 at the Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara Conference Center with the theme Moment for Youth, Action for Socio-Economic Development. Speaking at the event, the Executive Director of the National Youth Council, Mr. Alaji Jaju, explains what to expect at this year's Youth Connect, stating that they want to strengthen the youth ecosystem to actively participate and support implementation of the recovery focus of the National Development Plan, the AU Agenda 2063, the National Youth Policy 2019-2028, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, among others.
And as we speak, the summit will certainly take the form of plenary sessions. Beyond the plenary sessions, we'll also be having our breakout sessions, looking at various thematic areas for which certainly the focal person will get into. We'll also be having a pitching contest where we'll be having our young entrepreneurs that will be coming in to really pitch their business ideas. And we hope the partners that will be there or investors should be able to support them get their business ideas to the next level.
Basiru Gay, the vocal person for the National Youth Connect, said after the second edition of the summit, many vibrant youths came together to work on the same issues. He highlights how far the preparation of this year's Youth Connect Summit has gone.
A few months back, we established the National Organizing Committee for the Youth Connect. It is drawn from different diversified groups. The youth organizations from different sectors come together and also share our ideas and also make the Youth Connect Summit to be one of its kind.
The summit will be in a face-to-face format with young people from diverse groups, Mr. Gay explained.
One of the most important plenary is the interministerial session, which is a high-level plenary which brings 7 ministers at the Youth Connect Summit to discuss on the level of how far are they in terms of contributing to the achievement of Youth Connect goals. So it is a face-to-face with the young people in their respective ministries, because we understand the growth of young people is cross-cutting, as everyone says. So at their level, what they have been doing towards addressing the issues of the young people. So aside from the plenary of the interministerial session, we have the SDG session, which talks about the different SDG goals on the level of the Gambia. How far has it linked to the Youth Connect Gambia goals? Because the SDG 17 talks about partnership, and that is one of our approach at the level of Youth Connect. How do we achieve our goals? So
the Youth Connect Summit is an annual event that brings together young people from across the country to discuss and address issues affecting youth development. The summit aims to provide platform for young people to engage in dialogue, share ideas, and collaborate on solutions to challenges they face. It also provides a stage for young people to showcase their talents and innovations through exhibitions, performance, and competitions. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Sally Kamara.
And that report by Saleh Kamara will take us to the commercial break. When we come back, we'll record news outside the Gambia. Stay tuned.
Assalamualaikum mbokk yi dina yëgal rek ne tey moom dañ ñëw ànd ak yéen ak ñi nga xam ne ñooy Afrimoney. Oncle yow naka nga dee jëfoo li nga xam ne ni moo nekk Afrimoney bi?
Fii suma sop la customer mu moom am ci la ma fayee ci Afrimoney. Man mii bu ma jënd merchandise fii ci Afrimoney fii lay fayee.
Man sumay order suma bagage sax Afrimoney laa dee use def na sax sumay dem si restaurant bi man suma alaaji Afrimoney lañ dee use pour fay suñ bill bi.
na ma dee yóbbu i bagage waaye fu ma yóbbu bagage yëpp Afrimoney suma fun bi leen ma faye mu yombalal ñu ko ba bugg a dee.
sa tontu mooy kay mën nga jëfandikoo sa Afrimoney pour fay lépp loo bugg a fay ci nim gën a yombee ak Afrimoney dialal star 777 hash nga tànn 9 dugal kooti boutique ba loolu rek la fay nga fépp fa mun a nekk rek yaa ngi ak sa téléphone dugalal xaalis ak Afrimoney egin boo mën a doon wala Africell customer care mbaa nga call 777 ñu leeralal la ko.
Welcome back. After that short commercial break, we're just tuning in. This is Star TV News from our studio here in Serekunda. And now we take a look at news outside the Gambia. Israeli air strikes have killed more than 2,800 Palestinians since last Saturday. Nasser hospitals in Gaza, southern city of Khan Yunis, is grappling with a surge in the number of injured patients as Israeli air raids continue overnight in the Palestinian territory. At least 2,750 Palestinians have been killed since last Saturday. More than a third of them were children. The death toll includes healthcare workers and journalists. Al Jazeera's Yona El Said reports from Khan in southern Gaza.
These are the ones who were supposed to help others. But these medics are now some of the latest victims of Israel's war on Gaza. After a night of heavy bombardment, the injured were brought to the Al-Shifa hospital by any means available. Some of their colleagues unable to hold back their tears.
The situation is catastrophic. For the last 7 days, we have a continuous flow of severely wounded patients. The hospital beds were expanded many times, though it's fully packed now. In the last hour, if I'm talking about the last hour, we received around 60 severely wounded patient, means 1 patient per minute.
Across Gaza, the number of dead and injured is rising.
Inside the house, we found bodies of children who had nothing to do with the war. They were safe in their houses.
Nothing seems untouched. Even donkeys are not spared in this densely populated strip of land. And there is nowhere for Palestinians to go. Some continue to gather at the Rafah crossing with Egypt, desperate for a way out. But those who are waiting can only pray. diplomatic efforts are underway to get aid into Gaza, where essential supplies and services are being denied. Water is scarce, and these men say they are taking desperate measures.
Now we're filling in salt water. I'm ready to drink from the salt water. What else can we do? We're forced to do this, and thank God.
The attacks are relentless, and now they wait for the next wave. But parts of the Strip are already nothing more than smoldering rubble. Yunus Syed, Al Jazeera, Khan Yunis in the Gaza Strip.
Palestinians still struggle to get enough water. Palestinians say they can barely get enough water to bath their children, wash their clothes. Health workers in Gaza warn thousands of wounded people could die due to fuel and medicine running out. Al Jazeera's Yona reports from Gaza.
Syed is in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Yumna, it's good to talk to you. There was intensive bombardment overnight and into the morning. It's now midday for you. What's happening now?
Well, yes, Cyril. I mean, the bombardment, especially in the southern part of the Gaza Strip, in Khan Yunis and Rafah, has been very, very high all morning, not just at night, but these hours of this morning. There was a targeting for a number of homes in Khan Yunis and in Rafah, and also in the premises and the complex of the Najjar Hospital in Khan Yunis, another hospital that is in the southern part in Khan Yunis. The targeting was very high, and dozens of injuries were brought to hospital in the European hospital in Rafah and over here in Nasser Hospital. Now, these bombardments, although people were directed by the Israeli military to leave the Gaza Strip or to leave the northern Gaza Strip and the Gaza city and head to the southern parts, yet the bombardments on the southern governorates are still ongoing and are still intensifying. This is something that the people here do not understand. And this is something that is also making a lot of people think about returning back to Gaza City. They say since the bombardments are still ongoing and intensifying in the south, why should we evacuate and remain in the streets while we can maybe return home and also stay under ongoing bombardment in the north and Gaza City?
Where are people getting food and water from right now?
Well, Cyril, when it comes to the water issue here is a very critical issue because there is no water in the Gaza Strip. The water that is available now in the areas is the water that's available in the wells in different areas. If there is a well in a certain area or a residential building, people are filling up whatever they can get of containers and using that water very slowly before they can refill it again the next day. So even those people who do have these wells, they say they can give only each family just one container in order for the water to be enough for everyone. We see thousands of people who are displaced and taking shelter in Nasser Hospital, for example, holding bottles of water, empty bottles of water, and trying to fill these bottles of water, whether drinking water or washing water. If there isn't drinking water, many people in Gaza have been the past days also using salty water to drink, and that's the water that comes from the wells. They're using just normal salty water to drink since it's the only alternative until now.
Yesterday, hospitals were estimated to have about 24 hours left of power, give or take. Are they still operating?
Now, for example, this hospital here, Nasser Hospital, the doctor told me that they have department of the hospital has already been suspended, while other departments are working. Some other hospitals, like the Turkish hospital in Gaza, has also done the same thing. It's the only cancer hospital or hospital for cancer patients. Some of its departments have completely been suspended. They can't work now because of the loss of fuel and the lack of fuel. Now, the departments that are still operating right now in this hospital and in other hospitals are operating with the rest of the fuel that is still hasn't run out of the hospital.
Yumna Syed, thank you very much for your reporting out of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. Thanks, Yumna.
And that report brings us to the end of this edition of today's news. But before we go, a quick recap of our main headlines. IOM Assist Voluntary Return Program provides swift solution for stranded Gambian migrants in Niger. Minister Njai says new defense policy aims to boost professionalism. Gambia successfully hosts its inaugural Model United Nations Conference. NYC staged the third edition of Youth Connect Summit with over 400 participants. On the international news, Gaza war, Palestinian death toll passes 2008. Agreement with US to restore water supplies. Well, that's all for this edition of today's news. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Until then, have a very good night.